Hello everybody, welcome to Lupus Fitness 333. My name is Angel. Today's topic is, of course, philosophical talk number 25, yoga and meditation. Now, I want to bring up this to become a little practical, all right? I know people do yoga and they like to do it as an exercise. I want to challenge you to do it a different way. This way is basically living or experiencing something in your mind while you're holding the stretch, okay? And the way you're going to start out is, of course, putting a timer. Now, don't go crazy on the timer. 5 minutes, or you know what, 3 minutes. 3 minutes is usually better. 3 minutes is a lifetime. Because what you're going to do to begin the practice is simply put yourself in a stretch or a pose where it's a little stressful on your body, where the stretch is very prominent. You understand? So focus on the part of the body that needs to be properly stretched and hold it. Hold it for the time. So in this case, for this example, we're going to do 3 minutes, right? Now, I want you to imagine the stretch or the pose is a life experience, okay? And you're going to come up with a scenario inside your mind. In the beginning, it's going to be easy, okay? And the end will also be easy, most cases. But it's really the middle of the experience that you're going to be mostly present in, okay? This is a mindfulness exercise. And it's going to start out with a thought. Whatever your thought is, you continue it. You follow it. You follow it in your mind. Experience whatever emotions, whatever thoughts grow out of that. You have to experience it fully, all right? Now, of course, inside your mind, time will work differently. But, outside is going to be 3 minutes. Your challenge is to hold the stretch for the 3 minutes while you're living inside your mind. And you're going to have to pay attention to your emotions and your thoughts throughout the whole thing. Basically, I want to get you to the point where you're about to give up. All right, this is the same thing as going through the fear wall when you're in your mind, when you're trying to meditate or trying to do something. All right, we're trying to recreate what the marathon runners call the wall, okay? You're going to purposely put yourself in that position. And when you reach to a point where you think you're going to give up or you want to give up, you have to pay attention to what's going on in your mind at that time. What emotions you're feeling, what thoughts, whatever past experiences, whatever's going on in that time where you're about to give up because you can't hold on anymore, pay attention. This is the exercise. This is what this video is about. Whatever's happening in that little segment of time is very important. That's going to reveal what you have to work on to go past the limit, past your limit, your current limit. All right. And this is a very good and important exercise for people with our condition because you're going to be going throughout that all the time, even with things that normal people take for granted, like opening a water bottle. I know I bring that example all the time, but I remember when I first started out with that, when I first started experiencing lupus symptoms, the first thing to go was my hand strength. So anything that required me to use my fingers or my hands was a monumental task. And from what I remember, that's where it began. Like every little experience like that, everything that we thought was like that's not a big issue, became a big issue for me to the point where I felt emotionally weak. And so I'm down from zero and I have to work my way up to not only what was normally established before I got sick, but beyond that, because I realized, I probably lack the mental strength to overcome this, because probably the one that I had before this is what led me to these decisions, right? Even though it was a genetic disposition, it doesn't matter. Point is, you want to get to the wall. Pay attention what's going on there. And that's why I brought up. Because when I was opening it, it was hurting so bad. I was feeling more pain that I was moving the bottle caps. And I had to overcome that, because there was a point in that little moment where I felt the wall, where I was just going to give up and ask somebody to open the water bottle for me. But of course, this happened when nobody was around. All right. So I'd have to resort either to accept that I'm going to open this in whichever way that I can, or give up. And no. So what I learned is, every time I failed, I thought to myself, okay, where am I weak here? First, I thought physically, all right? My hands are weak, so I have to strengthen my hands. When I started doing that, I realized, no, now it's not just my hands, it's also my forearms. So I started doing exercises like that, till I finally I was able to break down the process into little actions that I could practice to help me achieve that goal. All right, this is very, very, how do I say? It's essential. It's essential for everyday life, okay? Because in most cases, we don't think of it like that, especially when it comes to small things, because again, we take them for granted. It doesn't require any effort, and we could do it almost within our sleep. That's not the point. So you want to carry that practice into things that require you to physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally change. All right? Because that's the old you saying that this is as far as, we'll go. And you have to break that to be able to go past that and fully, how do I say, achieve a successful meditation. Again, I'm very objective, I'm very practical, so when I do want to do something like that, I make it into a task, where I make it a plan, and I map out the milestones, and then within the milestones, I figure out what's going on with me mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and then try to work my way out of it, okay? And you might have to do this more than once. And some people might be able to do it on their first try. Some people will have to take a few times. Some people might have to take a few weeks or a few months. But the point is that the experience doesn't change, you change. Okay? As long as you're constantly confronting it, you'll get stronger. Just like when you lift weights. The weights don't change. You change. You'll get stronger. You become more capable. You become whatever is it that you need to overcome that obstacle. And you might have to, again, revisit that obstacle until it's no longer an issue. All right? So that's what this video is about. The meditation practice is to dominate or overcome your limitations mentally. All right? And the stretch is what causes the discomfort or the pain that forces you to either overcome it or submit to it. You understand? Okay. The next thing, another example of breaking the mindset. For those of you who do know about the movie Tron Legacy, basically what you're doing in this meditation, this yoga / meditation practice, is simply you're trying to update Clue. You are the creator of the mind, of your habits, and now you're going back into whatever it is, the Tron universe, and you're trying to find Clue, and you're trying to update Clue on what your new habits are going to be. And of course, Clue is going to resist you because they are following the program that was established years ago. And now you're saying, well, that plan or those habits or those thoughts are now outdated, and we got to update to the time and for us to reach the new goals or the new levels that we have to achieve in order for us to grow and go to that place we want to be or do or whatever it is. So that's what you're doing. All right, that's just an analogy of the process. So again, you putting yourself in a meditative pose or a yoga pose is to have your body occupied in a mindless task. All right, that's basically what you're doing with the stretch. The stretch, again, has to be prominent, meaning like it has to put some kind of discomfort, all right, where like you're feeling the stretch. That's the discomfort we're talking about. The stretch is a little bit uncomfortable, but you're able to hold it for the whole time, for the whole 3 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever time you have. Usually it should be short because you want to have your mind be able to do it in a very real, as if you're in a real life scenario that requires you to change or kill your ego or go beyond a limitation that you have, and the moment requires you to accept that change or not achieve what you want. Okay? So yes, again, this is a tool. Yeah, I forget that it does that. Sorry, I looked down. But anyways, you have to choose the intensity of the stretch. The intensity of the stretch has to be important. Okay, I have my notes down here. I gotta bring them up, because the camera follows my eyes. Yeah, that's about it. So, remember, these are the last things. The timer is important, the thought process is important, getting to the wall is important, and finishing. During the wall, right, you have to explore your thoughts and your feelings, okay? That's a must, because that's the whole point of the exercise, okay? Not just holding the pose, all right? So, yeah. Thank you again for watching. This is Lupus Fitness 333. My name is Angel. Please like and subscribe. Please get this video to like 40 likes and send it to somebody you think needs to see this and will benefit from this, okay? Thank you. Bye.